This conference will now be recorded.
I'm gonna give it one more moment just to make sure it really is recording. Okay, I thought I pressed stop. Okay, good. Hi everyone. I'm Carolyn Klinger, and I'm one of the people helping to manage the STC Alliance competition this year. I've talked to all of you so far. I'm really honored to have Mike Nelson here this evening to go through our second judging exercise, our mock judging exercise, where we are going to be able to work together in sort of an interactive way on looking at a video. Okay, and Mike will explain to us what is special about this video, why it's not like other videos that he usually makes. So I'll let him do that introduction, but just really grateful to have Mike here tonight to do that. And I see Malu here with us tonight. And when we get to the point where we are actually doing the mock judging exercise after Mike gives the introduction, please unmute your mics. Please feel free to talk because this is going to be very interactive, hopefully, where you just kind of call out when you have something to offer about this video. So with that, I will hand it over to Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Carolyn. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Nelson. I've been with the competition in some form as an entrant since 2002 and a judge shortly thereafter. So mostly in the Boston chapter, but I've also entered various other chapter competitions when the Boston chapter stopped running them here and there. So I've entered, I think I've entered the New York and the Baltimore and a couple other chapters when the New England chapter wasn't running one. But now New England has joined the Alliance for the past 3 years. This is our third year. And so we're very happy to be part of the Alliance. It's really working out great. I love seeing different entries as a judge from other areas besides New England. Getting a good mix of entries now, so it's pretty cool. I'm also the New England chapter president now. Just started in November, and I'm the documentation and training manager for KVH Industries. They're a satellite antenna company in Middletown, Rhode Island. I've been with them for 20 plus years now. Can't believe it. Because when I took the job, I thought it was going to be a stepping stone job, and here I am. That was I joined as an associate, and here I am as the doc manager and the training manager. But I've been creating videos for KVH for a good 10 years now. I started doing just very short 30-second videos on like how to set up your DirecTV receiver for a certain function, really quick videos. And as time has gone on, I've been making more complicated videos. Now we do full motion videos showing how to replace parts in antennas, and so we've got a good library now of videos. But enough about me. We're here to go through a practice video, and the practice video for tonight is a video I entered in a competition 2 years ago, and that video won an award of distinction. But I took that video over the weekend and I put lots of bad things into it. It's got a lot of problems now. So our goal tonight is to find what those problems are, and I'm sure you will find them because it's a pretty bad video now. So we'll run through the practice video together. So we'll just watch it through, and maybe jot down some notes as you're watching it, and then we'll discuss what you all thought were the strengths and what things you found could be improved. And remember that when we're judging a entry, it's areas of improvement. We're not we're not out to call out errors. So we want to present our write our comments in a very positive, constructive way, like we're trying to help out a friend make their project better. And then after that, I have just a slide with some tips on some things that make judging a video different from judging other entries. So that's the agenda for tonight. So I will stop the slideshow here. Bear with me a second. I got a lot of different. Oh. Okay, so this is. So you should still see this, right? PDF here. This is the what the entrant provides with the entry. It's the write-up. So before you judge any entry, you should always read the summary that comes along with the entry. This is what the entrant is providing to you, to all the judges, explaining this is what the purpose of this entry is, and here's some extra notes that you need to know about this entry before you start judging it. So before you look at an entry, you should always read the summary first. So we're not going to read this part, but it's important to know what the entry is supposed to do so that when we watch it, we can determine if it really is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So it says, explain how to set up tracking avoidance zones in the TracPhone antenna system to mitigate the #1 cause of internet service interruptions at sea, blockage of the satellite signal. The target audience is dealer technicians who install the system and existing customers in the field who have not had zones set up for them. So that's an important part. So not just technicians, but we're having customers watch this video as well. We're teaching them how to set up these tracking avoidance zones. So keep that in mind. All right, so that is all I wanted to show on this. Oh, hold on. And this is an entry form. I want to get to the video. Okay, so the entrant provided a link to this video, and it's on YouTube. And here, this is how the video is presented on YouTube. It says, setting up a TAS, and I don't see any other information about it. And this is our thumbnail. Okay, take a look at that. Is that helpful? I don't know. And we'll start watching the video. It's about 4 minutes, so I'll be quiet and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. We had a little trouble in the practice earlier, but hopefully it'll work for everyone. This video explains how to set up tracking avoidance zones in your TracPhone system to mitigate the #1 cause of service interruptions, blockage of the satellite signal. Satellites in a mini-VSAT broadband network are located over 35,000 kilometers or 22,000 miles above the equator. To communicate with the satellite, the antenna must point its reflector at its precise location in the sky, and it must remain locked on it as the vessel moves. Therefore, in an ideal installation, the antenna has an unobstructed view of the sky in all directions. Satellite signals cannot penetrate solid objects. Anything that stands between the antenna and the satellite can potentially block or degrade the signal and interrupt service. Common causes of blockage include mass, antennas, and other structures. RF energy emitted by a radar or high-power radio can also degrade the signal. With a tracking avoidance zone set up, you prevent the antenna from pointing toward a known obstruction that is likely to cause marginal reception and poor performance. Instead, the antenna quickly switches to a different satellite, provided an alternative is available in your region. To set up a tracking avoidance zone, click Edit and enter your administrator password. Now enter the azimuth range to avoid relative to the bow. The range must span at least 5 degrees. Then enter the elevation range. Keep in mind that the elevation angle to the satellite will fluctuate with pitch and roll, so negative elevations are possible. Next, enable the zone and click Save Settings. The zone is now set up. Let's run through some examples. This graph shows the relative strength of the satellite signal within the azimuth and elevation range of the antenna. You can clearly see something is interfering with the signal whenever the antenna points between 70 degrees and 125 degrees in azimuth. So we would set up a tracking avoidance zone to cover that area. Here's another example. This time, the obstruction is on the port side, between 250 and 270 degrees. Our tracking avoidance zone might look like this. Now consider this installation. We might want to set up two tracking avoidance zones, one for the radar and one for the spotlight. The lower height of the spotlight allows us to minimize that zone's elevation. The antenna can see over it. Once you've set up your zones, you have the option to change the time and zone setting. This is how long the antenna will be allowed to point within a zone while your vessel is turning. Based on the vessel's rate of turn, if the antenna will pass through a zone within the allotted time, it will stick with the current satellite. Before we close, please be aware that things outside the vessel can also interfere with satellite signals. For example, cranes at the dock, bridges, other vessels, and even severe weather. Although tracking avoidance zones can't possibly account for all cases of blockage, they can still make a huge difference in performance by avoiding the permanent blockage conditions on board that are most disruptive. But if there's too much blockage, you might consider moving the antenna to a better location. This concludes our video on tracking avoidance zones. To learn more, refer to the system's help. If you have any questions, please contact KVH Technical Support. Okay. So just let me get back to the beginning so we can. This video and exit full screen. Sorry, I didn't start it on the full screen from the beginnings. Do I need to go to the beginning again and watch that part again, or was it big enough at that time? Did you see enough?
I was
Anyone?
chatting with people online, so I didn't notice. What did everyone else think? Do you need to see any part of it again to discuss it? Okay.
No.
So,
No.
So everyone can get off mute and we can chat about what you thought the strengths were, if any. Hopefully you found some strengths. Anyone want to jump in, or if you don't feel comfortable just blurting out something, you can put it in the chat. And
Yeah, I mean, I saw some strengths for sure. I mean, the animation, things that can get in the way of a signal, the screen grabs from the software with the accompanying audio. I mean, there were definitely, I know you intentionally made some things bad about it, but it's not horrible. I mean, there are some basic things about it that work.
okay, thank you. I can't see your names in what I'm seeing, so on the oh, I just lost my screen.
We can still see you, and we can still see your shared YouTube, your browser.
Oh, it came back. Okay.
Like
Yeah, I lost one of my
If you want to see a
screens.
name, you just have to hover your mouse over their picture and it will show the name.
Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Karen. Was
That was
something else
Marcy
that was
that
a
was
strength?
that was talking. Thank you.
Yeah, that was Marcy at first. Yeah.
Who's next?
This is Tim Ron. I thought it did a fairly good job of explaining the technical nature of the product and what it needs to do. I'm not sure that it was presented at the place it should have been. And I also agree that the animation I thought was effective in showing the what would be a blocker to the device. So
That was Tim.
yeah, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Karen?
I liked the charts that showed the blocked area visually with the numbers and the red color. I thought that was very effective for understanding the impact. of a blocked signal.
So you like the examples? Thank you. But could you read the chart though? Could you make that?
Not the first time, but I did with the second one. Like,
Could you tell that this was elevation and this was azimuth? And
Not,
did you even know?
not immediately. There's also no indication of where you would find this information. So that was what bothered me about seeing this. It was not introduced as you're going to
Mhm.
see this if you use X. There was no link or anything like that to it.
Mhm.
And for me, where the red parts are, it would have been nice if there were an arrow pointing there or a box circling it or something to bring my eye to
Mhm.
where the presenter is talking.
Yep. Oh man, I keep losing my screen is going nuts. It's Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. At
He's
least the
got two
cleaner
screens.
hasn't done vacuuming yet. Anything else good in this in the video?
The music was, energizing. It definitely was, had sort of an excitement to it. Kept
So
things
you
like
like the
moving
music?
along. Well, it was fine. I thought it had a lot of energy.
Okay.
the narrator's voice was clear.
Maybe
Okay.
one other
Narration.
Maybe one other good thing, Mike, this is Marcy, if you can't
Yep.
see. Look, I don't know a thing, I don't even know what azimuth is, but the good thing about this is you're assuming prior knowledge, a fair amount of technical knowledge. So you're you're getting to the core content without explaining stuff that would annoy people because you're, of course, making reasonable assumptions about what people
Mhm.
know.
Well, you picked up on something right there. You weren't sure what azimuth meant, and customers don't know what azimuth means either. So that
Oh,
was a problem with it for sure.
okay. Okay, got it.
Like,
Okay.
what's an azimuth? So you picked up on it. So how about some bad things about it?
So,
I-
Mike, I guess maybe you need a description who the audience is at the beginning of the video. Who's the intended audience?
Well, in the write-up, I guess I should have went over that part where it's provided by the support team. So the link is sent. So here's sent to customers by the support team as needed, and it's available on the partner portal and our customer portal.
Okay.
So it's not just out there in the ether. It's unlisted, so you can't get to it unless you find it on our portal or the support team sends it to them.
Okay, that makes sense.
One thing that bothered me was that this is a setup. It's describing a setup, and it really doesn't even get to the setup until quite a ways into it. There's no kind of table of contents or anything that introduces what the topics will be. That probably would have helped, so somebody could kind of zip through parts if they need to go back and just see what they have to do to set it up. They can do that. Then they don't have to watch the whole video or try to remember what time something appeared. So it seemed to have a little bit too much information at the front about what was going on that maybe wasn't necessary. I'm assuming that somebody who's going to be setting this up is going to have some technical knowledge. It also didn't indicate anything that may be a prerequisite or some knowledge that they would have to bring. For example, they're knowing that there's more than one thing that they may have to make sure they have information about. And it mentioned some numbers or something at one point, and it didn't indicate that you would have to, you might have to stop the video at that point and go find those numbers and then come back and pick it up again. So that, to me, wasn't a very effective use of it as a video.
Okay. Well, the the point about the beginning here is it has to first tell you why you would need to set up a tracking avoidance zone, because customers don't know what a tracking avoidance zone is. So we needed to tell them why they would want to set this up to begin with. So we had to provide the concept of blockage first, because I guess we should have. It's to address this issue that antennas are trying to communicate with the satellite, but you know, it's getting blocked. So we have to first tell the customer, you know, the concept of blockage, what can block a satellite signal, and then here's how you prevent the antenna from trying to see through blockage by setting up these zones. So it's trying to do multiple things at once in the video.
We have a comment in the chat.
Sure.
So Jessica Hitchcock, she said her mic isn't working, but she said it seems more like a marketing video rather than a training video. The music is a bit loud.
That is a very good point. So the music, I find extremely distracting and loud, and takes away from the narration. But I know Carolyn, you enjoyed it, so I guess I didn't do a good job making it.
I'm just a very
annoying enough.
person.
I
I'm
also
good
found
at
that
everything.
I have to say that the tune was on my mind. It was driving me nuts, because I was, you know, I was creating this, and it was just going around and around in my head for days.
We'll all be hearing it tonight.
Yep.
I've already blocked it.
Sorry about that.
I was going to say that some of the photos, it seemed like in some cases there were way too many photos. I didn't know what I was looking at. I'm like maybe one with the antenna or whatever, but it seemed like there was way too many. It was just overkill for me with all the photos.
Okay.
Mike,
There wasn't any closed captioning.
Yeah,
And
That's
for
a good
somebody
one.
that might be hard of hearing, how would they be able to follow what was going on?
And who is that speaking? Sorry.
I'm Nina Weiner.
Nina? Yes, that you caught a very important one. So captions is any video on YouTube. You can even have it automatically populate the captions for you on YouTube. So to not
Not
include the
necessarily
captions,
spelled well, but
yeah, but any
the
captions,
studio works well with it.
so to not have captions is a big flaw in my opinion. So that's a good one.
And the word satellite was misspelled, one L, not two.
Yep, exactly. Good
one.
on you picking that one up. Very good.
Sharp eye.
Very good. And you know, there's not much text in here in the video, so a typo when they have very little text is a kind of a glaring error. I mean, if you can't catch a typo with a few pieces of text in a video, I mean, shame on you, you know. So, I mean, it's still a minor error, but a minor error in a video is weighted more, in my opinion, than a typo in a manual, you know, because there's so little of it. Any other drawbacks to this?
I remember seeing an animation where something was like flying, like a transition where something was like flying off the top of the screen. And I thought that was really distracting.
I think you're talking about the rain.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, that's this part here. Oh.
Bridges, other vessels, and even severe
And
weather.
this goes flying up. Is that what you're talking about? That one?
Actually, that's really, yes. But no, I was thinking there was another
there's
one,
another one.
that was
there's
yellow.
another. Yeah, this one's pretty bad too.
Refer to the
Is it this
system's
one?
help. Have any questions? Please contact.
It's so bad.
Yeah, that one. That one was awful. Oh my God. That's right.
Are you
What's
talking
that?
about the satellite, the animated satellites? When it was handing off to one satellite, the other one's like going down the left side of the screen.
Which?
I feel like it was towards the beginning, that one I was referring to, but
Oh,
there seemed to
Yeah,
be choices.
those ones, those ones.
Yes,
It's like
those.
when and it hands off one and there's another one hanging
you're
Yes.
picking on this
down.
one? This is
Yeah.
the good stuff.
I like that.
It's like when it's
Come
handing
on,
off the
guys.
satellite, and I finally got it the second time that maybe that satellite, when it's transferring, the other one's going out of orbit. But it's like, what's that strange thing over there?
Oh man. Wow, you guys are a tough crowd.
Anything that stands between the
It's communicating and it's getting slow and then it's
block would
blocked.
degrade
Yeah.
the signal and interrupt service.
Wow, you guys are tough.
That you had to illustrate that.
The sky. And
See,
unless
it's
we're
communicating, and
Mike,
now we're
you're such a
moving,
good sport.
so we're tracking the satellite.
Therefore,
All right. Well, that wasn't a negative for this video, but
There was something towards the beginning where it was all by itself. It didn't seem to be, I don't know.
oh, this here? Yeah, this goes on way too long. This,
Okay.
yeah, some other things. Yeah, this this satellite video where it's just me talking, and it's just this satellite is just it's going very slow, and it lasts for over 10 seconds. I mean, you should never have a boring. It's a boring piece of the video. And there's another section where it's just, especially at the end, this part here, where you just see this on the screen for over 10 seconds, I think it was,
Oh, yeah.
when I'm talking, and
Um,
there's nothing happening. I mean,
Oh.
that's the curse of death in a video where just nothing happening on screen and just somebody talking. I mean, nobody's gonna watch it. They're gonna stop watching it. So
Zora
when I
had
get to the
a comment.
tips,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, maybe we should start transitioning to that. But Zora wanted to say that she liked the music too. I feel so redeemed. But she said it would be good to show the steps alongside the images.
The steps. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Like when, well, when you see the final, if you watch the final video, it's got a lot of call outs and things where it's calling the viewer's attention to things. So it's not just showing the screenshot. So it's
Yeah.
doing a lot better job than this is. And well, the major flaw of this video, and the reason it can't win an award, is it never shows you how to get to tracking avoidance zones in the web interface. It doesn't even show you how to get to the web interface. So that is the biggest flaw of this video. It just shows the person in the tracking avoidance zone section, never shows the customer how to get there. So
I was gonna say that.
sure you were. Yeah, that's the biggest flaw with this video.
But
And
I would have thought if the customer called support that they would know how to get there from the call. I wouldn't think that you would have to tell them, but maybe that's a wrong assumption.
well, this video is also on the portals for customers to access. So it's not necessarily just from a tech support sending it to them. And also tech support says contact tech support. There's no phone number or email or anything here. It's just tech support.
Yeah, no contact information at all.
Yeah, nothing. So that's bad. No call outs. The signal strength graph we talked about that earlier. It's hard to read. You can't figure it out. The
Can I
narration volume was inconsistent. I don't know
This is Jessica. I'm able to speak now. I have a question about what tool was used to create the video.
Camtasia to produce the video, but the animations were in Adobe Animate.
Okay. And was it recent Camtasia or was this done a while ago?
2018, so a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And the another bad thing, I know we're at time, so I just want to run through some other things. The what do you call it? The thumbnail. The thumbnail image is the help menu, and it has nothing to do with setting up a TAS zone. this image should show you something about setting up a TAS zone, a blockage or something, and it's the help menu. It's completely useless. So that's something to look at also. If you have access to the thumbnail, make sure it's a helpful thumbnail. And jargon, TAS, setting up a TAS. What the heck is a TAS? And there was inconsistent font styles and colors and formats all over the place in this video. I used all kinds of fonts and callouts and I used every different transition I could think of, like the window panes and the zigzags and all that. It should be consistent. So anyway, that's enough of that. I can want to get to
Mike,
my tips.
yeah, cover your tips, and then if you want to just do the 4-minute video, it's okay. I think it's only a few more minutes.
Okay. Okay, so these are just a few tips I jotted down, which differs from other types of entries. First, watch the entire video before you start judging, just to get your good first impression, because most users are just going to watch the video once. So you want to be like the user and watch it all the way through one time to begin with, because how you react to it on a first run is how the user would react to it, instead of watching it in pieces. And then later on, you can look for the different details on different viewings. This is a big one because some shops may have a lot of money to throw at videos, and they may have lots of production values in their videos, and have all kinds of bells and whistles in it. Lots of whiz bang features, and you always have to have in the back of your mind, is this video, I mean, it looks great, may be beautiful, but is it meeting the needs of the user? I mean, if it's not helping the user do what they need to do, all that extra expense was a waste of time. And I've seen this before in videos where they spent a lot of money on it, but it's a waste of time because it doesn't meet the needs of the user. So it's important to see past the glitz, as it says. Don't get whatever the word is, bamboozled by the bells and whistles. Audio quality. I've attended various training seminars and things on videos, and I hear time and again that users will drop out of a video when it's poor audio quality more often than it's poor video quality, because people are used to poor video quality because people are taking videos all the time. But if it sounds bad, they have no tolerance for poor audio quality. So it's an important thing to remember. I mean, like the music there, overpowering the narration. It's just, people won't tolerate a bad soundtrack on it. So always keep that in mind. And when even if it's just a video, I know we have a video section on the form, but don't just go by that section on the form. All these other categories also apply. Like there was artwork in that video. There were photos, there was graphics, there was writing. The script was the script was written, so you can judge how well it was written. How well the video was organized. Was the information put in a logical order? Was it laid out properly? So all the other not all the other categories, but most of them also apply to a video. So don't just go by the video category. And when you're giving examples, it helps the entrant. If you say, You know, this font, the font size is, you know, there was a spelling error. You know, you have to, you don't have a page number to refer to here, so you provide the minute and second time code, and it's very easy to see on the, you know, when you're playing the video, just give the minute and second time code when you're giving examples. So those are my, you know, quick tips that apply to video specifically. I think this one is an important one because, you know, it's very easy to say, wow, this is a great video. You know, they've spent a lot of money on this, but, you know, it may not even meet the user's needs. And then it's like they wasted money. And I've seen it. I've seen it before. So that's the slideshow. If we want to watch the, well, you guys didn't like my animation, so I don't know, but I can play the, this is the real one. And hopefully you think it's better than the one I put bad things in. If it's not much better, boy, did I do a lousy job. But I'll play this.
To mitigate the number one cause of service interruptions, blockage.
Oh, let's start it from the beginning here. I don't know why it's, oh boy.
Video explains how to set up tracking
There it goes.
avoidance zones in your TracPhone system to mitigate the number one cause of service interruptions, blockage of a satellite signal. Satellites in a mini VSAT broadband network are located over 35,000 kilometers or 22,000 miles above the equator. To communicate with the satellite, the antenna must point its reflector at its precise location in the sky, and it must remain locked on it as the vessel moves. Therefore, in an ideal installation, the antenna has an unobstructed view of the sky in all directions. Satellite signals cannot penetrate solid objects. Anything that stands between the antenna and the satellite can potentially block or degrade the signal and interrupt service. Blockage include masts, antennas, and other structures. RF energy emitted by a radar or high-power radio can also degrade the signal. With a tracking avoidance zone set up, you prevent the antenna from pointing toward a node obstruction that is likely to cause marginal reception and poor performance. Instead, the antenna quickly switches to a different satellite, provided an alternative is available in your region. To set up a tracking avoidance zone, you need to access the system's web interface. With a computer connected to the network, open your web browser and enter minivsat.kbh, or the ICM's IP address. At the web interface, go to the Settings tab and select Tracking Avoidance Zones. Next, click Edit and enter your administrator password. Now enter the azimuth range to avoid relative to the bow. The range must span at least 5 degrees. Then enter the elevation range. Keep in mind that the elevation angle to the satellite will fluctuate with pitch and roll, so negative elevations are possible. Next, enable the zone and click Save Settings. The zone is now set up. Let's run through some examples. This graph shows the relative strength of the satellite signal within the azimuth and elevation range of the antenna. You can clearly see something is interfering with the signal whenever the antenna points between 70 degrees and 125 degrees in azimuth. So we would set up a tracking avoidance zone to cover that area. Here's another example. This time, the obstruction is on the port side, between 250 and 270 degrees. Our tracking avoidance zone might look like this. Now consider this installation. We might want to set up 2 tracking avoidance zones, one for the radar and one for the spotlight. The lower height of the spotlight allows us to minimize that zone's elevation. The antenna can see over it. Once you've set up your zones, you have the option to change the time and zone setting. This is how long the antenna will be allowed to point within a zone while your vessel is turning. Based on the vessel's rate of turn, if the antenna will pass through a zone within the allotted time, it will stick with the current satellite. Before we close, please be aware that things outside the vessel can also interfere with satellite signals. For example, cranes at the dock, bridges, other vessels, and even severe weather. Although tracking avoidance zones can't possibly account for all cases of blockage, they can still make a huge difference in performance by avoiding the permanent blockage conditions on board that are most disruptive. But if there's too much blockage, you might consider moving the antenna to a better location. This concludes our video on tracking avoidance zones. To learn more, refer to the system's help. If you have any questions, please contact KVH Technical Support.
Well, hopefully that was a little better.
Yeah, it was.
Very good. That one was great. You did that. You did that with Camtasia as well?
Yeah.
You didn't use Captivate or anything else to do the walkthrough portion?
Whoa, what's going on? Some other videos starting. The next video in the YouTube, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What was, sorry?
Oh, so that one was still done completely with Camtasia, except for the animation?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, it was very nice. That was, it went at a nice pace.
And some, you know, some call outs to call attention to things instead of just putting the screenshot there, or not a lot
And
of.
a distinct lack of music.
Yes.
Sorry,
Sorry,
I couldn't hear it.
I know you like the music. What, you know,
So sad
one
for
thing
me.
one thing I could have done is I could have started the music in and then faded it out when I started the narration and then brought it back in at the end. So that's one way to jazz up a video. So I could have done that in retrospect. So
Yeah, that
now
was
I know you like
excellent.
now that I know that you like that tune, maybe I'll start using it for that. So any other questions? We're kind of over the time here. Sorry about that.
It was great. I hope everyone got a lot out of this. It's good to kind of get yourself starting to think analytically, you know. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.
Yes,
you guys
very,
did a
very
great job. You guys did a great job picking up things. I know now I know I need to work on my animations a little bit more. So have room for improvement.
Oh dear.
You picked up on a lot of the other things, so that was good. So
excellent.
Especially the typo. I didn't think anybody would catch that one. So
you underestimated Jackie. All right. Well, we'll send this recording link out when we have it, and hopefully everybody else can enjoy this discussion that's on our judging team. So thank you all very much for your time tonight. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll see you all
Thanks,
later.
everyone. Happy judging.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll have another one on Wednesday night if anyone wants to attend on that quick reference guide.
What is that on? A quick reference guide?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Wednesday at 7. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Carolyn.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.